All right, guys. Had to move up my live stream a little early. I got settled down. I won't be able to do it later, so I just want to go ahead and get it started. Sorry for the time change at the last minute. I just been traveling. I'm not in my normal, I'm not at home right now, so I have to just be able to, make a quick audible and make so at least I can get something in, and we'll just kind of go from here, guys, and start without any further discussion, so we can jump into it. So just starting from the top again, I do see everybody's questions. I know, again, I don't know why YouTube doesn't keep the chat going, but they don't for whatever reason. So starting with hymns. So hymns, we're just going to go down, and I was able to get some of these going already, so we can move through it. So hymns, I was kind of taking a look at this a little more closely. I'm looking at, you have this cycle here. I'm calling this a 4 here. I took another look at it. I think 1, 2 is too bullish. You can see the peak RSI is at the 3, taking out all of them. So it's really, I think it's really a 3 and a 4. So we should be making a 5, you would think. And looking at this a little closer, it looks like you have 5 swings up with a pullback and 3 on a flat, and you're starting your next leg higher, which should be peaking and then having another pullback, right? It should peak and pull back somewhere back down to 45 or lower, and then out. Now, if we cannot make the 5, it's corrective bounce, and of course it will extend lower. So this is a very important low to hold here. Okay, there was some debate, where was the low? Well, the low's here. This is the low. I mean, I'm looking at it again. So here's the low. So it's got to stay above this low for the bullish cycle to continue, and we don't have a 5 yet. So if I was forced to trade this, somebody put a gun to my head and said you need to trade this stock, and you have no choice, my guess would be I would wait for the 5, get a pullback, and then buy it at 40, somewhere in this area, with a stop at 40, like 40.70, somewhere, wherever that low is. Okay, so that's how I would look at this. So there you go, guys. So that's hymns, and we had been playing around with hymns just for the hell of it, just for the fun of it, because this was a big call boy stock. Everyone's just like buy calls, and then we kind of played around and found some areas that really produced some really big reactions. Then you got the flat, you make the higher high, and then they slam it back down. So I don't think this is 5. So I was looking at this too, and I'm like, well, you never took this peak out. I was thinking, could this be a triangle in 4? It doesn't subdivide as a triangle, so we're going to go with this count. So this is the count we'll go with for hymns. The next one's Solana. Now Solana is really jammed up, in indecision right now. It actually could still be in this wave 5. When you look at the RSI, and I hope everyone can hear me okay. When you look at this RSI here for Solana, you can see the higher low, higher low, higher low. Now this one we just broke. That's why I draw bearish here. Now if this low was higher, I would actually show the more bullish count, but we don't have it, so I'm going to show that. But I still look at this like consolidation in this area, and it does concern me that you could still be in 5, even with that lower low on the RSI. I mean, that's just one data point, in many. So, I still look for this bearish view where we come back down to maybe 185, 184. We react, and then just like I have these arrows, you're either going to go to new all-time highs, or you're going to double correct back down to 150, 148. No one knows the future, right? Don't let anyone fool you. If anyone draws a chart that has this, that's just what they wish it will be, probably because they missed a move and they're hoping it goes back down. There's no guarantee that this arrow is going to happen. right? So I show this, and so you have to understand if you're trading Solana, you have to have a strategy, because if you're hoping for this down here, it may never happen and you may miss the whole thing. So what's the best strategy, you know, in overall? Well, one, it's to buy it early, which is what we did here. If you didn't buy it early, well, then you have to buy this first dip and you have to let it bounce, and if it bounces again, you can buy more. It's that simple. Not too complicated, but it takes patience. It takes looking at your account, maybe losing a little money, but your dollar cost average would be okay. But it takes a strategy like that. If you're looking for instant riches on anything, it's going to be tough. So this will produce a reaction, okay? And so the leverage fund that we're going to look at will behave the same way. So we have the same problem, right? A sell-off and then either a huge move higher or a reaction and another leg lower. So what I see in the leverage fund, and I looked at it, and that leverage fund it doesn't have enough data to be really helpful, so I don't particularly like analyzing it, but I did my best. I'll look at it here again. So I'm looking for another swing lower. So we have the first leg is finished. We're in the second leg, the connector. And what do I always say? We never trade the connector wave. So I would think we would come back down somewhere down here around 16. That's what I would expect. Now, does that equate to Solana at 145? Maybe it does. I don't know. I don't have time to do the math to figure that out. But this is what I think it will do. It will come back down here and then find a low and then come back up. Something like that. And then when this is done, you get an even bigger pullback that could last many months. Many months. So that's what I'm seeing. Divergence-wise, this is good. Because if we would have, if we had a peak, if this B here with the higher price had a higher peak, right, then you have to be thinking, is this the top of the cycle because it's in a corrective wave? This tells me more than likely there's a Y coming, because normally in a corrective wave like we have here, 1, 2, 3, we need another leg higher that will take out all these peaks. And that's how Y will end, typically. Y will end when all those peaks are gone and it's at the peak. So what it tells me, the divergence is there's more upside in this instrument. But I'm not ready to just, do this and say it's go time. Can't do it. So I think we're just going to chart it that way for now. If we can come back and take that high out, well, then that's what we would revert to. And then this would become like an A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that's what would happen. Just looking at this on its own. So Solana is honestly very tough to trade right now because it's jammed up. It's jammed up. And like I said, I'm showing a bearish view here. It's easily, I can make this bullish. It's just one data point, okay? One data point, right? Perhaps all we did is just correct this little cycle here, right? And that would be wave 5. So perhaps we're still in wave 5. And again, this is what I'm trying to show you. And then we have a 1, 2 of 5, 3, 4, 5 of 5. You see? So I don't like selling it. I don't like shorting it. If I'm long from these lower areas, when we were talking about this was going to come, you should just hold. And if you have no position, well, I think you have to wait. And then eventually you'll get a pullback. If not, you need to accept that you could lose. If you buy it randomly here at 205, you need to accept you could lose all the way back down to 150. And maybe you're okay with that. And if you are, then buy it. Buy it. Go buy it. I know I wouldn't be, but who knows? That's what I look at this. That's how I look at the Solana coin. I think to me, it's already made a higher high with a big slam down, which usually means There's not going to be a lot more slam downs. Typically, you just kind of grind up, you break out, and then you back test hard. You back test hard, and then you go. Or you back test does fail. So that's another. But usually you can come through this. Because everyone's afraid. Everyone has PTSD from this. And that's why they're scared to buy right now. And that's why it keeps just climbing the wall of worry. Okay. So I'm labeling it bearish only because of that one thing. I would say if you can come back and take the peak out, you go to the bullish label. Taking this as meaningless to me. Okay, I hope that helps. MIGI, I think a couple people asked MIGI in here, or no, something different. But this one anyway, MIGI. Yeah, MIGI had a breakdown, and it's it's taken another leg lower. Unfortunately, the bulls were not able to hold the low, right? So now I went ahead and updated this chart. So just kind of zooming out. Basically have a W, and then we have an X here and a connector. And then we need 3 waves. You have 1, 2, and now you need to finish C. When I look at the labels, it looks like to me you have a 1, 2, 1, 2. It's about to have a meltdown. And it makes sense because you just broke a major low. You had this massive, almost looks like a bearish, like some kind of bearish megaphone even breaking down if I draw it. You know, so this whole pattern will puke lower. If you're in it, I would just expect to lose a lot of money. Will it recover if it still exists? Yes, because you'll have a massive counter trend rally when C is done. I mean, Y is done. So if Y is done, you'll have a massive rally, but it may not exist anymore. I look at the divergences and I go to the higher time frame, and we need what's going to happen more than likely is this, and it already broke. It looks like it just started to pierce a little bit. That's going to break down, and it's going to come down and take out this low right here. Okay, that's likely what's going to happen, just like you saw up here. Almost the same phenomena here, right? When that line. So my advice is the strategy, if I was in it, is short 3-wave bounces until further notice, until you get that capitulation. So if you can get a nice 3-wave rally, short it. That's how I would look at this, and that's what's happened here and here and here. And again, you may whipsaw around, but unfortunately, it's a broken chart. It's a broken chart. It broke this low. And that was really the bullish line in the sand, and now it just wasn't supported. It just wasn't meant to be, and that's the way it goes. Sometimes these things do go to zero. I don't know. I think it needs a capitulation move to the downside. We'll see what happens if it can survive that or not. It might not. It may just go bankrupt after that move. I don't know. If it can survive it, then it could have a big rally. I'll be honest. So if you don't have a position in this, you can watch it. If you see that big capitulation move to the downside, then you can watch and see what happens, and maybe you can try your luck on it. All right. Unfortunately, yeah, though, it just broke down. Chart broke down. Open has been getting a lot of attention. This is something we kind of looked at earlier. No direct setup using my system. We did call the end right. We did. I mean, the day you can go back to my live stream on it looks like it was like on the 9th or something, 9th or 10th. I mean, we called the low here. It was just like, was it an impulse or not? We were worried about a flat on this pullback, so we didn't want to get jammed up in a flat. But I kept telling everybody, don't short it. Don't just you gotta unless you want it to just gamble. So now you're getting into breakout. So now what we have is a 3-wave move up, 3, and then you have another wave, and this should subdivide. This Y should subdivide into 3. My guess is this A wave is going to end very soon. You get another pullback, and then you probably another push higher and C. I think the target for me would be $10. Then what could take place is a 1, 2, 3. Then you could get a 4, and you can get a 5. Then this thing turns into a bull market. Now, what happens after 5, right? You get this pullback. So that pullback will be your buyable. This would be where you want to go long, right? Now, you could try to go on a 4, but remember, there's no guarantee of a 5. This has been a go to 0 stop. So there may never be a 5. And if there isn't a 5, it's just gonna go ahead and go to 0 and break the all-time lows. Okay, so just understand that. Okay, understand that if you're trading it, I think it has more upside into this box, and then after that, who knows? Who knows? If you can get a pullback in B in 3 waves, maybe, why not try it? I mean, why not? It probably will be a small box, so it'll be a low risk type thing. Why not? And maybe you can get this little bit here. And then if you get really lucky, it extends again. So that's how I would trade this. If you don't have a position, if you happen to be lucky to buy it here, you probably should just hold it. But this is the area I would be really thinking about what I want to do with my profits. If I haven't done anything, hopefully you've taken some, and then you'll need to because if it's a 4 and a 5, right, you'll make one more little high, and then you got a massive pullback. So probably be better just, once you see that 4 develop, just to get out, even if you missed a little bit of 5. I mean, yes, it could be a 1-2, 1-2. There is that possibility, but to me, this is kind of where I think we're heading. And then right at this 4, it's going to be a decision. Next one is SPWH. SPWH, let's take a look at that real quick. That one hit our target and went vertical. So I believe, Ryan, you asked me about this, and hopefully this made you a lot of money. Now, this vertical target now is in the middle area. So we could either make a whole new leg higher, right? This leg lower is now gone. So we're either going to make a whole new leg higher, or it will double correct again, right? So it's either going to do that, or it's going to double correct and be another buy. I think it's likely with this type of reaction at the box, it's probably going to another leg higher. So if you happen to buy it in the box, I would just stay long and let the markets take you out again at 259. You probably need a 5, right? And then you probably will get some kind of pullback. And then, of course, more upside. But you can't rule out the extension and acceleration. Cipher was another one we called, we did really well on our live stream. I mean, we had boxes down here. I believe even down here we had one, talked about it. And now we're breaking out, and we broke out. And now we're back testing the breakout. Now, I have a double correction box. If it were to come back, you see how you have this, this looks like a connector, but it can be deceiving. So I'm labeling it as a connector. If we were to just drop tomorrow and start to accelerate lower, 641, 606, you can get a new position in on it. But my guess is it's not going to happen. My guess this is a back test, and it's probably finished here at the wave 4. It's just my guess, but we won't know that until tomorrow. It's hard to see if this is a connector or not. I just think it's, I think it could be, and then that's a lower low. So I think we just have to we need more data to be precise, but the general direction is obviously clear. It's higher, right? It's obviously clear. And that's what we've been saying about Cipher the whole time. And you had this big breakout, and I drew this like 1, 2, 3, like an inverse head and shoulders, and we broke out. We back test. We should go higher, probably top around 12, 13, somewhere around where these peaks kind of hit, and then you'll make another big pullback and probably break out of this too eventually. Right? I'll draw that line. Maybe somewhere, something like maybe somewhere around here. So that's where that's what I'd be looking for. The next area is like $12. Resistance, you chop around, big pullback to correct this whole cycle, and then you can break out. That's what I think will happen. But right now, I would just say if you're long from these lower areas, I would just hold it right now and just let this play out a little more is how I would play it. But like I always say, do what's best for you. But I mean, this has just been working out really well. Okay, even as Bitcoin was going down. right? That's why we can't overthink the market too much. We trade each chart on its own. I have no idea why this is more bullish than Bitcoin, and so is IREN. But IREN has another business that they're working on that's not crypto related, and I think that's what's surprised traders and fundamental investors. They didn't understand that until the recent earnings report. So anyway, maybe these guys are going to do the same thing and copy them. I don't know. So anyway, that's all I've got. So you said when your thoughts on the Hive 11 plus target for it. So my target would be for this. I don't know, 11's pretty high, but let's take a look. I mean, that would be like a 50% retrace of that wave. I mean, I can see that. I could see that if this is a W. Well, let me put it to you this way. This is 3. That's 3. If this is a new cycle higher, I mean, your target could be 2. It could be. I mean, I think 11 is okay to target that. That's a lot of resistance here. But if this is in a 3-swing sequence, on like a whipsaw, we'll come back and take those peaks out. So I think, but I believe, it's not a straight up line. So yeah, probably around this cluster of wicks here is probably your first area for major difficulty if this breaks out like we see it here. Okay, but it's got a lot of work to do. First, we got to take out this high. Until then, it can be a connector wave. And like I said, it could double correct still. But typically a reaction like that, it's usually not going to do that typically. Okay, next question is, let's see here, GameStop. Let's take a look at GameStop and see how GameStop is doing. GameStop's going into, it looks like earnings. I don't keep track of this stuff, but it was on TradingView as an earnings is scheduled on Tuesday. So I want to just say what I told my members. If you're going into this box on earnings, you need to be comfortable losing 25-30%. And if you're not, you should just close your positions and wait to earnings over, even if you don't get the bottom. I'm just being frank with you because you have no room for error. I hate going into earnings in the box because the box could produce big moves, and even to the downside, this has been consolidating. So yeah, whatever happens on earnings is going to be the catalyst for either this leg higher or a massive meltdown. If you're not comfortable risking that money, then my advice is to not trade it. Wait till earnings is over and then reassess the market. If you want to gamble and you're willing to play that gap down risk, then go for it. Because again, this is the count we've been going with, and it's holding up so far. But look at the setup. We're in a 3 of 3 of 3. We're going. This is probably the most critical earnings report we've probably ever seen in GameStop's history. The way this chart is set up. So we're going to see something, I mean, I would expect a big move on earnings, a big move. If we go in like this now, if Monday, they just pop it up to 27, well, okay, then that's a whole different conversation, right? So I still, based on my system, you would be long. But you need to understand there's earnings risk. And then even based, my system, I personally would not hold in earnings with that kind of risk, even if it means I don't get the exact bottom, because I just don't gamble with my money like that. But some people do, and they can do it. Just I usually like to have a little bit of a buffer. We usually see that stocks usually run into earnings or they get fear. There's usually like a buffer. We don't have that here, so there's going to be a big risk. It's still the count supports this bullish setup, so I just. Why would I label it bearish? Because the count doesn't support that yet. Now, we break these lows. Let's say Monday we come down and break this low. I'll flip it bearish and I'll have a different chart on Monday night. If you're a pro, I don't know if whoever out there, if you're interested in GameStop, be a pro member. I update it every night. Monday night may be the most important update you ever get on this stock going into Tuesday. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. Okay, maybe the market will give us a clue, right? So that's all I can talk about GameStop. I wish I had more to talk about on it. Okay, I have a next set of stocks here that we can go into. Let me find them. Okay, CEG. CEG is heading to our box. We have a 273 Constellation Energy. I really like this chart. We have a full grand supercycle correction on a flat here, finishing, making a higher high in 5 with a 3-wave pullback into the 4. I mean, guys, this doesn't get any more textbook. I mean, this is like textbook. Now we have, you know, this Y. Let's look at the 4-hour. Yeah, I would like to drive that down more. Let's look at the daily. Drive it down more. So just a little more selling, and then this is the area. Looks like a little gap here. Could it go lower in the box? It can always do that, but that looks good to me. I bet if we come back and ask me about this in November, we're going to be up here. I just have that. I mean, that's my suspicion. I look at this and I'm like, can that? So again, could this be a 5? Well, the way we topped here, I don't see it as a 5. I just really don't. Right? I see a 3. I see the 5 here, and I see the full reset here, and the full reset here. Right? There's your 3. There's your 5. There's your reset. There's your wave off the low. You made a higher high. To me, it looks good. Right? Now, if this bounce didn't take out B, then that would be a different story. But it did. So Constellation Energy. So we'll keep an eye on that. So that's a good one. Okay, that's a good one. All right, next is URG, is uranium play, showing 5 waves up. Should be pulling back here, and that could represent an opportunity if we pull back here on that divergence, pretty much on every time frame, somewhere around $1.10. For the next leg higher. And I think it will make another move higher. Looking at the bigger picture, got another flat and a 1-2. 1-2, nice 3-wave move. Equal distant move. 5 up. Did not take out the B. See, Constellation took it out. See, this one didn't. So that's why you're like, it could be something else we're not seeing. But more than likely, this is the count. So I'd be looking for a pullback. The pullback doesn't have to happen, though. We've seen before time and time. But this is the general direction, higher. The next one is ITRG, some kind of resource play. And that one, I think it raced divergence and kept going from the last time we looked at it. And we should be ending this 3 at any moment for a 4, something like that. So we're probably in some 4s and 5s. And then we top out and pull back again. That's the most likely path, but it's obviously accelerating higher. You can't rule out continuing to just go vertical. EXAS, now this one's interesting because it's at the do or die moment. The bears have to step up and either crush this, to finish the correction, or we break out and then it turns into a probably either a bigger connector or even a bigger connector here. So, but then essentially the decline's over. So for me, look, every time it's hit the line, down, down, down. Why would this be any different? I mean, maybe now it's different. But my guess, you're probably going to find sellers show up here, and then you'll finish the correction and the capitulation leg. That would break all these lows. This support will finally break, and then you'll get panic somewhere, probably somewhere down here, I'm thinking. So I still don't like to trade it. Now, if we can push higher, take out this peak here, $60, break the downtrend, then you're going to be in a bigger bounce in a connector. I would never short it. But if you break this high, then you could buy like a pullback on 3 waves against the low and play the connector. But more than likely, you're just playing a connector wave that will eventually end in tears at some point. But the connector wave, as you know, can go to even break the highs. So like you should trade the connector wave on a higher degree time frame. I think it's okay to trade it, right? I try to stay away from the middle area, but something like on a big time frame, it's okay to trade that because to me, you have years of trade. Like it's not necessarily like, wasted money, wasting time. You just have to know like what you're doing. This is trading, not like in that long-term investing here. But I'm okay trading a connector wave like on a huge time, like on a large multi-year time frame. I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Even though it is technically the middle area and I like to stay away from it, I do think because the gains, it's like a bull market for several years, right? So we can trade that for a but we know it will end at some point. So next is BE. Now that one went crazy high. And again, just taking out divergences. It's actually still in 3 of 3. So it could continue to just gap up and run. And we have a higher high, higher high, higher high. This is going parabolic. So if you can get a 3-wave dip, take it. You know, I would buy it and stay long. It's actually was pretty tricky to find the subdivisions, but I think you're still in 3 of 3. It can even gap up tomorrow and keep going. So unfortunately, if you didn't have a position in it, you can't chase it. You missed the move. You missed the move. You missed the move. You got to wait for a pullback. Boom. I mean, the pullbacks always come. People think they never do, but they always do. You could try to buy this 4 when it comes, or even wait and pull when 5 is done. Buy it back down at, probably back down to 50 or lower. But unfortunately, chasing it here, I thought isn't part of my strategy. I would just try to buy if you can get a 3-wave pullback, join the trend. Zillow, I have this as going one more high here. Zillow, we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, 2 between the 4 and the 2, right up on the perfect, and then we go up 5. We're up this 5. So this 5 is about to end. Maybe one more swing higher, and then you should get another pullback, and you can look to buy that pullback around 75. I can't rule out acceleration higher. People are starting to FOMO into housing because rate cuts is supposedly great for housing. That's yet to be seen, but that's how market participants have evaluated the news and are trading the news. Remember, we don't trade the news, but many people do. So they've interpreted the news as rate cuts mean housing good. Now that they may get rug pulled on that later, but that's how they're treating it. If they treat it like that, this could pump. Could even become corrective later. So I'm just showing you the most likely count, but if it can pull back like this, we can buy that. If not, it's just going to turn into a 1, 2, 1, 2 and just go more vertical. Okay. All right. That's those group. That's that group for you guys. Yeah, I can go to DJT instead. That's fine. All right. Vuzi broke out of its downtrend like the Russell, helping it is in the Russell index, so that's going to help it. Lower rates will help it. So we have 3 waves. It ended. It broke the downtrend. I pointed this out to our elite members once, and now now you had that boom, the wave 3. So now you're in the wave 3. I don't know. I mean, the nature of the move, it depends on how this wave 3 materializes. I think you just have to let more data. More than likely, it'll do something like this. And of course, pull back. And then you could look to go long on that pullback, but it may not pull back. It could just keep going higher. But the downtrend's over, right? And I'm not going to show it, but you have a lot of 1-2s, right? You have a 1-2 here, you have a 1-2 here, you have a 1-2 here. So at some point, it's got to resolve itself with more like accelerated price action to the upside, right? At some point. But are we at that point now? I don't know unless some news is going to drop about these guys' glasses. If not, it's just going to probably slowly grind higher until they drop some kind of news. It's really interesting because they have a cool product. High technical, complex product, and their value market cap is so ridiculously low. I can't believe. If I was a tech company wanting to get in on this, I just hostile take over this company and own all those patents and technology. It's god cheap. I just don't know how they why that hasn't happened yet, but eventually I think it will, or people will realize how undervalued it is for what the technology they have. But that's another day. That's fundamental view. So that's the fundamental view, but we don't worry about that. BidF hit our box, nice reaction, looking like probably I would go with something like this. Just to be conservative for now, let's bring that back down. But let's take a look at the RSI. We could still be in a 4, or maybe let's go to another time frame. Yeah, we're probably still in 4 here, so I probably have the peak wrong. That's probably the peak. So something like that. So we don't have the, I don't think we have a 5 yet. Or, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. So yeah, so either 4 is done here or we'll double correct a little bit more. So it's still only corrective. You need to take out 143. If not, there is a risk of another correction, another move lower. But it seems to be holding up okay. It's amazing we had this box here. I wonder who followed me that bought it down here. You guys must have been really happy. Got up to $4. That was a 10-bagger. I don't know if this will be another 10-bagger, but it, like, you look at this and it's like it's a clear connector. Nice reaction. If we can get that 5, I feel really good about it. I feel really good. If not, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's going to be like MIGI. We don't want to be like MIGI. So we can't get too excited about it yet. Let's just see if that happens. And then if it can, make that 5. You could try to buy 2 if you missed it. Try to buy that 2. And then you could see if we get the bigger move higher out of this double bottom or even triple bottom, depending on how you look at it. Okay, guys, Bohr. Bohr has been in a box for quite a while now. Bigger picture on Bohr is it bottomed back in the COVID lows. Traded it. I've been trading this since 2020, guys. I mean, this has been one I'm very familiar with. This. I don't know how I discovered this symbol, but it's been fun to trade, I would say. But my chart has always been this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like leading diagonal. And then we came out and we basically bottomed right between the 4 and the 2, where I would have expected. So we bottomed exactly where I would have expected, where that's when I started covering it for elite members, and we started buying it here. And now we're starting to get the break out of the box. But like all good things, you're going to have 5 up, you're going to have a pullback. So you're going to have to get ready. I don't know what this will be the test. If we're lucky, it just goes for some reason. If we're not, we're going to have to deal with this pullback in 2 before we can get too excited that we caught the low. And why is this happening with oil prices going down? Because it's benefited small cap energy. It benefits from the Russell index going higher. I did confirm it's in the Russell index. This stock's in the Russell. So if the Russell index goes up, like it's likely going to just benefit from the tailwind of the Russell more than it, in the commodity in general. Yeah, it went down, but it only went down like a few bucks. Like the commodity has to go from 60 to 30 to I think really hurt this company. But I think that's what I'm looking at as a count. Okay, this is the count, but it's a big box because it's it's the first correction off of a major low here. So it's like a huge box. We're trying to come out. The personality of the stock is typically when you get the wave 3, it goes vertical. I'm not sure why it would do that without commodities going higher, but like I said, I don't know. I think it's a U.S. oil company. Maybe there'll be issues internationally and U.S. companies will be more favored. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? But this is it. This is the chart. This is the chart. I'm not interested in selling it here. I could care less whether 2 goes here. Like this whole box for me is a long-term hold. It's a long-term hold. Now, if you're day trading it, you need to be prepared for a pullback. Okay. All right, that's Bohr Energy. Bohr Energy. Next one is ZNOG. I was able to get this one done. This one looks like this one was harder to take a look at, but I think based on what I'm looking at it here, I mean, I'm not going to call this a flat, but I mean, let's just say it's a flat, an A, B, C. Okay. If it's a flat, then of course you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like I show here. If it's not, and it's just a 3-wave move, that would be the low, right? And then this reaction would be much bigger. So the reaction, if it's not a flat, will be bigger. If it's a flat, it's going to be smaller, but there'll be a reaction. So if I just trace the waves down, it looks like you need just one more low to finish that this third wave here. One more low. right? And then you'll get a reaction, probably back up to 172. So yeah, I mean, this probably is going to have a relief rally coming. I just don't know how big it's going to be. I think you're going to get this 5. It's going to break this low. You're going to want to see bullish divergence pretty much on all time frames. As long as you break that low and you see bullish divergence across the board, right? Because this will be a 5 of 3, so that's okay. But you need to see some bullish divergence. If you don't see that, then it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. But that's what I'd be looking for. Now, if it could come push higher and take out this 2, then it's something else. And I was looking at it. This would have to be 3. Maybe we're still in this wave 4 or something else. And I'd have to take another look at it. And this one honestly is not one I would never trade it. But since you asked, this is what I see, what I think would happen, and then you get the reaction. But then if it's a flat, you're going to go down another leg. If it's not a flat, it could go higher. It can go much higher than you think. So I don't know. So that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Some kind of 5 of 3. You're in wave 3 down, and you're in 5 of 3 and 5 of 5 of that 3. So that's what you're in. Now, Devon Energy just keeps pushing higher. I don't like trading it because it has an unclear structure. So I like to avoid structures like that. I'll just get rid of this to clean it up a little bit. It doesn't really mean much anymore. So again, still just looking to grind higher. This is the big downtrend line. I think we'll break out of it. This is the area I think is in a lot of danger for a bigger sell-off. Now, if let's say we go lower, then we can look at the count, right? Right now, we are ending with no divergence, essentially, on all those peaks and all those peaks. So we still can't get too happy, because if it keeps going down, the corrective wave could be over technically, right? This corrective wave could be over. Let's look at it. Well, since it's in C, we would probably look at this and call this, let's take a look here, ABC, 1, 2. We would call this 2 still, a flattened 2. So if we keep pushing lower, we would be a flattened 2. We'd come back down to like $30, and then we would come out. Okay, that's what would happen. We can't, because it's a C wave, it has to end in 5 waves. It has to be 5 subdivided into 5 waves, not 3. Right now we're in 3 with no divergence. So we actually need to end with bullish divergence. That's when we know we're in danger of C being done. So until that happens, it probably is going to keep pushing higher. Dips will be bought. So we could be in a flat. I think we need to rally like on Monday. We need to rally like now. If not, you could be pushing a flat again. And you're just here on this too. So it wouldn't be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be the shortest. Won't work. So yeah. But this is one of the most unclear structures in the whole energy space. There's just so many other things that I would rather buy than this until it becomes clear. At some point it will become clearer and we can be more aggressive with it. But that's my count on it. Now I'm going into the stocks that I haven't been able to prepare for yet. So these are kind of new tonight, so it may take a little more time. SAP. How's that one doing? Looks like we got that 4 here. Probably still in 5. Could we still be? We'll look and see if we're still in a 4. We may still be in 4 because it's a higher degree correction. Yeah, you see how long that took, so we're probably still in 4. So we're probably still in 4, probably double correct in 4. That'll give you a box to buy. So this gives you a box. So if you guys have been interested in trying to buy this, you have an opportunity coming at 200 to produce. I more than likely that's going to produce at least one more high, or if you're super lucky, another one too. So there's your box, and then hopefully you can get this 5, or you're super, like I said, lucky and get another 1, 2. But right here, it looks like that's where it's heading, just based on the intensity of the move. You're not getting any bounce. It's just likely to do that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and this could be we could have a big move coming in pretty soon to the downside, so just be careful on that. Okay, MLGO, micro algo. We just take a look at how that one's doing. This one's tough here. Let's see here. We're just not getting any. It's just kind of like MIGI. We're just not. We tried to play the whipsaw and it failed. Right? There's no whipsaw. It was a corrective bounce here, and a corrective wave, and then it took another swing lower. So unfortunately, it's making another leg lower. So there's really the next opportunity to trade it would probably be when it's finished this impulse, and you're making a lower low. So you're probably making a wave 4 right here. My guess. Let's take a look again here. You see, you have 3. Maybe we need to be careful. We need to be careful. I think our idea is right, though. I think we were off by a degree. I think this is going to still whipsaw around. See how we had it like this? I think you see how we had 3? It was just taking a bigger 3 waves. So it's probably the same thing. And then the subdivisions were this. And then it doubled. It did like a double. That's what it's doing with a connector. And then that gave you your 3. You know, I'm willing to bet that's what's happening here because of how that bottomed there. So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't trade these kind of things. You could wait till the downtrend line's broken for confirmation. Let's look at the daily cycle. Yeah, see, we're still on resistance. How about the weekly cycle? Way oversold. Like, it is due a bounce. Look at that bullish divergence on the 4-hour. Building and building. Yeah, I bet that's what it did. It tried to, so it probably fooled a lot of traders too, even fooled me a little. So my guess is it's going to try to bounce here, and then it's going to break this downtrend and squeeze. As people saw the breakdown, I bet they went short here, and they're going to get blown up. That's probably what's going to happen. So that's my guess. Again, I'm just speculating. I trade in this. Your stop loss, I mean, honestly, should just be, I don't know, it's $8. I wouldn't say 0, but stop loss could probably be somewhere around. Let's take a look here. 696. You know what's interesting? It's hitting that box right there on the fib extension. Interesting. So that's kind of a confluence there. There's no chart support there, right? It's at all-time lows. So, yeah, I think to me, that's all it did. It just played a little trick on us. We had the one leg, but it did a second leg. So it is what it is. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes the market's a fight, guys. You can't just give up on one symbol. Sometimes you got to fight it. This is one of those, but. This is one I don't usually trade these pennies. It's not a penny stock, but it kind of behaves like that. Go to 0 stocks. All right, XRP we were looking at earlier. That has a box. XRP has a box that we have, and we can wait to get filled. XRP. So XRP double corrected on us, unfortunately. So we have a connector here, and the box is at 245. My guess is, some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It may truncate. I'll be honest, it may truncate. So there's a couple things you got to watch. Watch the downtrend line. When the downtrend line breaks, it's likely the correction's over, no matter your count. That's your connector. It looks like you're in an ABC correction. Now here, again, yeah, see, we're in 4 here. We're in 4 here. So, oops, that's my bad. Let me try this again here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or no, it would be here, looking at that pattern. 1, 2, something like that. See, it's too far away. So this is too far away for 5. So the other possibility is it's another 1, 2. I'll probably just do that. That's probably the right way to label it. All right. So that is the count we'll go with for now. To negate this, let's take a look at some of the cycles. You know, it's trying to negate it right now. Yeah, the daily cycle is trying to open up to the upside. So let me give you an alternative view. That's the more bearish view, but I think we're starting to see evidence that that's not going to happen. So the alternative view is we're still in B, and we have a lower low that will come later. So this would turn into whipsaw around, and that would raise your target higher. So if we go any higher, I would be looking for something like this. Something like that is what I would be looking for. It would be unusual to truncate here. Let me check divergences one more time just to see if it truncated that early. I don't know, maybe. There's no divergence there. A little bit. Now, if the 4-hour didn't have any, I would say, yeah, it could. There would, to me, that would be like. But the daily is that's the most important cycle on this correction. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the whipsaw would support 3 waves down, but it also could support a truncated correction. This is tough. I think we would want to look at the whole market. If we push higher on XRP and Bitcoin is pumping in a wave 3, we'll call the low. If Bitcoin's still meandering around 110, lost, then we're probably in a connector, or let's say we, sorry about that. I don't know what that's all about. Get rid of that. Yeah, I guess my computer's updating for some reason. Let me see if I can get rid of that screen. Hold on, guys. Stupid. Yeah. Well, we'll have to take a little break here. I can't get rid of it, unfortunately. Let me try this one more time. Here, see if I can get rid of this. I think it's gone now. Whew. Yeah, I mean, this is my computer I never use, I don't use very often when I travel. I use it when I travel. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So this could be truncated. And you wouldn't want B to be too deep, as you don't want it to exceed this degree, right? So I don't know. 50-50 if it's truncated. I would just say we're going to need to... we're going to have to look at the whole market, but tough one. It's a tough one. This is the dump area. If we were to dump in here, you can buy it. And right now, it's going to be really tough to analyze. It's really tough. I wish I could do more, but unfortunately, I'd just be guessing at that point. And I think my suspicion is it whips on a connector right now. That's what I think it's trying to do. All right. UNG, my system, I'll just tell you right now, does not work well for natural gas. In fact, that's the one market that I usually lose the most money in. So I'll be honest, I don't really cover it or trade it. But since you asked, I'll do my best. and I just know not to trade it because I just don't like losing money, and for whatever reason, my system doesn't seem to work that well with natural gas. But here's the last chart we had on it. I don't know, maybe the chart's actually working. We had this A, we have a B. We made a lower low, right? Yeah. So that should open up more downside. But we could still be in B, right? We've talked about that because look, we should be correct in this entire move down, and that's all you got. So more than likely, again, the market's going to whipsaw us around. But with the lower low, it usually means we're still going to push more downside. So I think my forecast would be something like this with a whipsaw effect coming, something like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. We'll see something like that. Let's take a look. But I mean, that's just such a small reaction. I mean, that would mean what? I mean, that would be a massive wipeout to the natural gas market. So something like that. And let's look at the daily cycle. So we're right up on the trend line. So if we can break this trend line, that would support this view. So I think we'll know in a day or two. If it keeps breaking down, then the B is in, and you'll probably be smart to get rid of it or sell it, you know. But if we can push higher in the next few days, that'd be good. That'll be good here. That'd really help the market out. So let's see what happens. Again, I wish I had more to share, but that's all I can really do with natural gas. The Hive, the bigger picture. Let's take a look at that here. So we just kind of trade the chart based on the big. Here's our bigger picture. I mean, this is a pretty big picture, right? This gets us here to 2026, $10. I mean, there's no reason to go any higher than that because I think you broke this low here. Let me verify it though. Yeah, you broke this low. So if anything, you're just in a big corrective bounce, right? So the bigger picture is you get this big corrective bounce like I show, and then it takes a whole nother leg lower, probably in the end of the next bear market of Bitcoin, right? And it goes all the way down. So for just like you saw here, and then it could produce another big reaction. So my view is this, and there's really no reason to change it. We made a lower low, right? We have a full leg down. We're going to make a connector, and then we're going to take a whole nother leg lower if it can still exist. I mean, I don't look at this as like a long-term investment type thing. I look at it as a trade-in vehicle that, that is fun to trade for now. But I do know at some point, because it made the lower low, it's got to resolve itself more than likely to the downside. My guess is we still have more upside to go. But as you can see how it went from like here was $3 to $7, almost $7. And it did that in 1 month. That's the same type of thing. It's probably going to be in 30 days when Bitcoin explodes, whatever that is in the next 12 months, it's going to just jump up to there and that'll be it. And that will be it for Bitcoin too. And then Bitcoin goes into its typical bear market cycle. And this will go into its bear market cycle. So this is what I'd be targeting. That's what I'd be targeting for Hive. And that's what we've always had. So that's what we have. That's the target. That's the target. And the reason we have that target is the extension on A, like that. That's usually where the market rejects these type of patterns. So that's usually where it gets rejected. All right, GDX. Like I always say, you have to do what's best for you for taking profits and things. I can't give you financial advice, but I'll just tell you what's going on in it, and then hopefully you make a good decision. But I always say it's always good to take some profit. It always feels good to take profit and have money in your bank account because there's always another opportunity. You may never get the top of something, but I'll tell you, like, there's always another thing to go buy, right? There's always something else to go buy and take that money and put it in. And it sucks when you lose all the money and the stock corrects. So, like, I never got hurt taking money too early. Like, yeah, I don't like it, but then I have money to go for another opportunity. So I always look forward, like, what like I'm always like the type of person's like, look at what's coming in the future, like all this opportunity, and now I have money ready to go for it, and I made money on the trade. Great, I'm happy. I don't dwell in the past. Some traders, they get depressed and they just worry about the past. And then if you do, then you miss opportunities and your head's not clear, and you make bad decisions. You can't look in taking a loss or selling too early. You can't like get you have to get over it. And if you can't get over that type of thing, taking a loss or selling too early, I really believe you're gonna have a hard time making it as a trader, because you just have to go to the next opportunity. There's thousands of symbols, thousands of setups. There's always a black swan that will come, and you'll just take advantage of it. You'll be able to take advantage of it. So and you won the game. You came out with a profit. You won, right? You win. The house lost. You won. So just think of it that way. So where are we in the cycle? I still think it goes a little higher, but we should start to see some resistance coming in, right, in a top form on the cycle. That's what I think we're going to see soon, and then we'll see this too. Now this too should come back to the wave 4 cluster. We don't even have a wave 4 cluster yet, so it may go. My target's always been 80, and then we pull back into the 60s again later, and then we have a whole nother explosion higher. Now I don't think we have chart. I think it's at all-time highs, isn't it, or close to it? Yeah, it's at all-time. So it's in blue sky territory. So we don't have any real chart. We don't have a chart to navigate this. So we can also look at RSI to see how the momentum's doing. We're daily. You're at peak, but you're below this peak. That's why we know the real wave 3 is yet to happen. But you're still at the peak. Normally you top with divergence on the daily. Normally you do on a daily cycle, but you don't have that. And on the weekly, you also don't have that. So the top of this cycle from back down in the 2023 timeframe, or even 2024, it's going to need bearish divergence on the daily and weekly timeframe. Once you see that, then you know the cycle's probably coming to an end. But we don't have it, which is why we don't have the 4s and 5s yet. But those 4s and 5s are going to give you that divergence in that top. And that'll be your warning sign that, hey, the market is tired, right? It's tired. It's probably going to pull back in too soon. Now, we have seen divergence erased. That's true. So you can't just use divergence. But it's a clue that, hey, it's probably coming soon. It's been a big run, uncorrected. Now, we also know in the week we haven't even taken out these peaks yet. Oh, so look, it looks like it does go back here. My bad. I should have zoomed out even more. Yeah, so yeah, oh yeah, we're over all-time highs. Okay, so interesting situation. So my guess is it's going to probably grind higher. It's going to need 4s and 5s. There's going to be a big pullback that will be bought to make another high. That will make that divergence, and then it'll top. It'll top, and then you'll correct the whole cycle. And technically the 2 can come all the way back down here. We don't know the future. That's why I'm like, hey, take profit. Usually it goes back to the wave 4 cluster, but we don't even have it. We don't even know how deep these were. Maybe the wave 4 will come back down to 50. Like, I don't know. So I think we'll have to just play it out. But anyway, you have to just decide how you wanna do this, and and a lot goes into calculation too of taking profits. Sometimes I look at taking profits like, if I take profit and I'm going to make, let's say, a couple $1,000 and take out in my basis, so 10,000 is now back out of the market into my cash account. If someone gave me $10,000 right now, would the first thing I go buy is the GDX here right now market buy? And if the answer is no, then what would you do with that money? Well, I would probably use it. I would probably buy this or that. Well, then that probably is telling you maybe you shouldn't be in the GDX. Maybe you should be in whatever that is. So it's another way of thinking about it. Like, hey, if someone were to give you the money you have in your stock right now that you own, and this is good for anybody who has company shares, RSUs and things. I got this taught to me when I was right out of right out of the military, and started getting stock and stuff. And these executives, like, this is how they, like, when you sell company stock, it's like when you can use the money somewhere else better. If the first question that comes to your mind, like, is, okay, here's 25 grand in RSUs, are you going to go, or you know, 25,000, are you going to go buy your company stock right away, market buy it, or what are you going to do with that money? Well, if it's not market buy your company stock because that's the best investment, then you probably should be selling it. And that's another way of looking at selling. And like, what else would you use your money for? Like, where else could it be? Would you be putting it somewhere else, ready for, you know, what if Constellation Energy, guys, hits that box? Wouldn't you be smart to rotate some money out of this into that? Probably. But that's what the pros, that's what the professionals, that's what the institutional guys, that's what they're doing. They're rotating in and out of shit. They're right now, right? What are they doing? They're rotating out of AMD and NVIDIA. Where is it going? It's going into small caps and regional banks and see that, and Google. That's what's going on. That money's always going somewhere. It's always trying to find the next wave 3, you know, the next pump. It's always, so that's what's happening. So you got to think like that too. You guys got to think like that too when you manage your money. And that's why being a chartist and a trader is so different. But anyway, that's all I want to say on that. So good luck on your GDX. SPWH, yeah, we I already covered that. I think someone asked to cover something else on that. Yeah, DJT. Okay, DJT. Yeah, DJT. We haven't looked at that in a long time. It was pretty popular, and then haven't really talked about it much. Let's see. Is it getting close to a low? We have it in B, A, B. Yeah, where we need more downside. Let's look at where we are on this. We're still not interested. So we're probably in some kind of triangle and C here. Finish this out. Where's the 2? Again, I just got to orient myself to this chart. Okay, right here. So we need to take out this B at 1524 and erase divergence. Let's get rid of that real quick. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the B is here. And we're above it. Yeah, I mean, I look at this. You have your 3, your 4, your 5. You corrected the whole cycle right there. There's your A, there's your B. Now you're going into your C, your capitulation wave, but there's just no more room on the chart. But I'm just going to label it. Maybe it somehow can do it, but it's running out of space, which means it's going to probably break that pivot. I made the same mistake again here. So something like that. So it's going to probably break that low. So that won't be a 2 anymore. And you'll just have 3 waves through and this would be a connector here. Right, A, B, C, and then there. Okay, so you are. So yeah, you're in this capitulation. Maybe we can get a target. I doubt it, but we can try to get a target. Ooh, you're not going to want to hear that number, 287. So I don't know. I think it's going to go lower, man. I hate to break it to you. I think this stock is about to break, and you're going to get some massive capitulation and everyone trapped in it. This pattern is going to break, and it's going to left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It's about to break down. That's my suspicion. Okay. Unfortunately, I hate being a bearer of bad news, but that's unfortunately what I see. That's why I don't talk about it much anymore. I guess it's just not something I'm interested in trading. Okay, let's take a look at our symbols. Let me make sure I get back on track. Trip. TripAdvisor. All right, that's obviously a three-wave move with a big connector. So 1, 2, 3 connector, right? You have a connector. So now you need another 3 waves up. Connector, and or probably like that. But you're missing a swing down. You need one more swing down. So it's close, but we're not there yet. It needs a C leg. It looks like it's about to get its capitulation move. And that should do it. Now let's see. We can try to see if we can get a target on it. Maybe so you can't get a target. Let's try it's not. Fortunately, you're just going to have to kind of trace the waves. You're going to have to get a capitulation move, and you're going to have to take out all those peaks. This peak on the weekly and on the monthly. So my guess is it's got to move lower coming, and then it could finish this corrective move. It's going to be really tricky to target it, but it looks like it's close to some kind of capitulation event. And we broke the lower low, so it's trending down. Lower low, lower low, lower low. So it's obviously whatever this company's doing, it needs to do the opposite of. It's not working, you know. So whatever they're doing, they're doing the wrong thing, because most of these trip stocks are going higher, right? Expedia and all that shit is going higher. Like this one, they're doing it wrong for whatever reason. All right, VRAR. Let's look at that. Glimpse. How's that one doing? Trying to come off of this low. 3 swings up. So I think the next couple of days are going to be huge for this. If you can get that 5, that's a high likelihood that's a low. If you don't, then the whole, like we saw before, the pattern could break down. Now there's another possibility. Could it be a triangle? A, B, C, D, E. We have to go to the RSI. Yeah, it can be a triangle. So so there's this view, but there's also another view that you're in a B wave triangle, and that would end pretty soon or at any moment. So let me look at it one more time. Yeah, A, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't like the triangle view. It's kind of, I have to like overlook a couple things. So we'll stick with this view and see if you can get that 5. If not, you're going to be in B, and it's going to turn into a flat off of this peak, 1, 2, 1, 2, likely to go back and retest this low. All right, bunch of symbols here, MPW. Yeah, I remember talking about this a while ago. Looks like that low is in, looking like 5 waves. Looks like you're in a 3 of 5 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It may start to accelerate and extend. My guess it's this type of stock is doing all right. So something like that is what I'm thinking. But that we're starting to extend, and that could easily take out divergence. It's almost did that on the 4 hours. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And like I said, look, I mean, this is the chart. I mean, upside, right? And we made a higher high, so it's likely to do that. We talked about a running flat. This is what it's looking like to me. Okay, I mean, so we'll just kind of see what it goes. My guess is if this is a running flat, and a flat, usually once the flat is finished, you V bottom off of that, accelerates. So that's what we may be starting to see. Okay. The next one is Riot. Riot pulled back like as expected, and now it's got to make its breakout. It's already ended the downtrend. We had our wave 4. It could still grind a little lower to 1237. So it's not out of the woods yet for sure, but it's in a correction, right? This peak. Let's look at this a little closer. We try to let 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Something like that. 1, 2. Probably should put that there. And then A, B. So the question is it a flat or not? I'll have to go to a shorter time frame. Yeah, we have to call flat on a flat on that peak. So that would push it lower. I moved the 4 up, but let me make sure. There was a reason I probably had that there. Let me just look at the shorter time frames one more time. Yeah, no, I'm going to put the 4 there. Three, 4. Yeah, it's again, I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. Yeah, that's the 4. 1, 2. So we'd have to put that. Again, I'm just trying to be as precise as possible. So 1, 2, 3, W's there. Connector, and then that target I was mentioning earlier. So I think it's got a little bit more downside. 1219. So you get to the same place. I just kind of wanted to be a little more accurate with the labels since you're asking me here. I don't want to just blow through it. So yeah, maybe one more push down into this box. But to me, it's got another swing higher coming. Looking at how it topped there, so I think that's kind of what I would be going with right now. And then it needs another leg lower, like pretty soon, maybe even Monday. Okay, end phase. It's a broken chart, broken company, but it should be benefiting from the tan going higher. So whatever my views are on the company is irrelevant. It will benefit from that. And I've been, it's kind of a weird label. I was, can you bottom fish this? Well, obviously the downtrend's over, right? So 5, whatever my view is, 5 is done, right? Because the tan is finished, like the solar is finished its major cycle lower. 1, 2, 3. So let's go back and just kind of label it. Yeah, well, see, that would be the shortest. So we can't do that. 1, 2. Yeah, that's it. 3. 1, 2. So you only get 3. See, this is why this label just I couldn't get him. I mean, it's clearly the downtrend's over. But let me look at the label one more time. Just start from the beginning and see what we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, I think this was just such an extended third wave. I think that was the surprise on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it all works. All right, so now that at 1, 2, and you probably just don't see the 4 and 5 here. So there you go. So more than likely it's bottom with the tan. Like we've already called the low in the tan. The lead member's already long the tan. And you made the higher high on that pullback here. So yeah, it's bottomed. It's bottomed. I don't know much about the company, but it's bottomed for now. So there you go. That's it. That's the count. do with it however you please. You may not, what we found with solar was hard to get an entry, a clean one. We got one on the tan last week, which was nice, but we didn't really get one in the solar stocks. And this one didn't give us one really either. So you're making a higher high. So if you can get a pullback in 3 waves, it's a long opportunity. Against this low at 35.51. Okay. MSOS is in a very critical area. And I think it's just, it's ready for a big move. But where is that move going to go? So again, off the low, we had a low. We do have an ABC here, an ABC, and so the C is over here. Now C is just an impulse. All that C means it needs 5 waves. It can keep going, and another 5. So the question is C done? If C is done, this will melt down all the way back down. If it isn't, you're going to get a massive pump. I think we all know what we're waiting. We're waiting for Trump's news. Like, that's what's going to decide it. Now, the market's finding support in our box, and it's trying to come out. So we only have 3. If you can make 5, well, then maybe that was the low there. So I think this is the middle area. I would, this is the box. You should get a reaction. There's your wave 4 cluster. This is where it should turn. It should turn here, but unless you can read Trump's mind and know what he's going to do, I mean, God knows. I mean, technically it can go either way. We don't know. So I think your stop loss, I think you have to be willing again to lose 35-40% in one day. If Trump says no, we're done, it's not going to happen, this thing's going to be, it's going to be down here. If he says, yep, it's going, we're gonna let it, it's not gonna be controlled substance anymore, whatever, this is gonna be up here. That's what's gonna happen, my guess. If you bought it down here, you really don't, you're in the house's money. But if you're here, it's a big gamble. But this is the reaction, this is the area it should react. Okay, SU. All right, let's take a look here. And my guess is we left that 2 behind right here. Because that looks very impulsive, and we're taking the high out. So looking at this, it looks something like a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and we're in 5. We haven't even taken out that. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame and look at this wave in the daily. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's looking like another 1-2 up here. Something like that. So you get the idea. Higher. So it's grinding higher. If you can get a dip in 3 waves. Now this has a lot of divergence, so this could be its own little impulse here. And then it could pull back again to 35. And then that could be the opportunity to go long if this happens. So something like that could happen. But the path is clearly higher. Okay, neonode. All right. Ooh, it had a bad day. Crash correction in 3 waves. Only showing 3 up. So this is a go to 0 chart. It's a go to 0 chart. So it's probably taking its next, just like happened here, it's probably going straight to the abyss. That type of reaction typically is what you see. So let's if you really want to know how bad it can get, let's take a look. I mean, it's not even worth looking at that chart. I mean, it's, again, I know like people love trading these things. It's just damn. But here we go. So looking at this 5, yeah, probably an impulse here. So this was some kind of crazy cycle, but let me see this real quick. Yeah, so we definitely broke the low there. We made 5 up. Yeah, what's going on here is some kind of A, B, C, and then A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wonder, where did that low go to? There. Yeah, that messes that chart up. So that makes it still in some kind of B wave. Just kind of looking at a couple options, so that's not going to work. So then looking at how we topped here in 5, I mean, it's just kind of strange. It's unusual to have the C leg be so large. Like, it's unusual for that, but I mean, it's technically okay. We'd have to go with that, and then it takes the next leg lower. So we'll have to trace out 5 waves down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you ended the cycle and you corrected this wave, and that correction's over. So now you're in another leg lower from here. So you're like in that first drop, right? So you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then you'll get a big rally, right? It's gonna do kind of the same thing, right? And then it's gonna get slammed down. You kind of got the idea. It's gonna just, so yeah, I mean, there will probably be a big counter trend rally at some point, but you're like right here, right? So you're just getting started to the downside, in my opinion. My opinion, this 5 corrected here. Yeah, I mean, it cracked it. So yeah, so it's heading down. So that's my guess. That's my guess here. Again, it's not really something I trade a lot, but based on my 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just take one more look at the corrective structure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, see the divergence. This is it. So this is how I would go with it. 5 correction. Now a whole new leg lower started. So you could try to short it in 3 waves if you want to, but I wouldn't want to do it here. I'd want it to break the low first. It looks like you're still in the 3 to the downside. You're in 3 of 3 to the downside. My guess is you'll end up breaking these lows very soon. All of these lows. Okay. HL. Yeah, HL's good for long-term investment opportunities. If you got it there, that's good for you. I would just, as you can see, we're breaking out, but this is extended. But let's look at that 5 real quick. Yeah, see, it's erased divergence. So it just keeps extending. And how long can that go on? I mean, a long time. That's why we just don't know. But you would think it's going to be due for some kind of pullback. But look at all the 4s and 5s. It's playing catch up is what's happening. It really lagged a lot of the other miners, and now it's like playing catch up, my guess. And I'm seeing it more on social media, people pumping it because it broke some big downtrend or something. So anyway, look at all the 4s and 5s. So yeah, it's got, I would just say the strategy on this is buy the dips in 3 waves and just hold. Just hold, buy the dips in 3 waves. If you've got an entry if your entry is down here, then that prices will probably never be hit again in your lifetime. So that's up to you how long you want to hold it. I mean, until you need the money for something else. But my guess is a lot of 4s and 5s. So let's look at the chart, see if that can give us an idea of some chart resistance coming up. 14. 13, 14 is probably some resistance with maybe a wick up into the, higher teens. That's probably where we start making our 4s and 5s soon. So we probably get up, get up to there, and then that's probably where it tops, somewhere up there. Okay. Okay, let's look at another one that came in here. EONR. I think I remember looking at this in the past. Oh yeah, that one. So yeah, I mean, when I labeled it, we were looking at 5 waves down, 3 up, massive RSI spike, hitting the resistance on the back test. So yeah, I mean, that's the chart, man. I know people want, I don't know what you're if you're trying to short or go long, but to me this is a clear short trade. But let's spend a little more time looking at it, just to make sure. Okay. So you got a massive low here, and then a massive correction, right? So I mean, if you're forced to label it, right, you have some kind of boom, 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 right? This will need to do the same thing eventually. Now, could you still be an X? Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. Interesting. Look at that. From a fib standpoint, we're getting close to a fib area. If we're not, we already tagged. Did we tag it? Not yet. You have to watch that, because sometimes when those fib areas get tagged, the algorithmic trader, they'll just hit that bid, and that could cause its own spike. So 25 cents, you got to watch it. So I was thinking maybe we could still be in a bigger X, just trying to think of another, but see, that's just too much. So this would be a 5. So that wouldn't be a bigger X. That would just be a 5. So we'd have to label it like this. That. And that would be the wave 5 target if I was doing it. And that is a 5, all that bullish divergence. Yeah, I mean, very speculative. I mean, so I always say there's always a bullish bearish interpretation. I mean, we didn't have the front part labeled like we're doing now. Now that we label the front part and look at it a little bit more, then if we look at this, it looks like a 5, and it looks like it's hitting potentially a Fibonacci area. I mean, 1, 2. Let's look at that wave. So there's the correction right there, and see, we made that low. That's why I have the 3. Damn, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, like when I use in my system in the count, I would have a 1, 2, and you're like running out of space. So unless we're going to play around in 2 for a little bit here. I bet you're going to get a reaction. I have a feeling you'll get a reaction. That 2 normally, let's take a look at the data, the weekly. Yeah, see, you can't really say it's all corrected. So, again, these type of charts are tough. We could just say this is 5. It's going to bottom, and you're going to get a reaction here. The other interpretation is what I had earlier. And I just, maybe I could go with something like this. And then I could do something like this. It's finished. Like, you see how I can kind of play around with it a little bit? So you're going to have to do what's best for you. I mean, again, if someone wanted me to speculate with it, I'm like, what the hell? Maybe I'll buy it at that box, or once I start to pull out, But this would be a stop loss of 0 again. a stop loss of 0, right? It's like some kind of wedge you're trying to come out of. Let me see if I can make that darker. Yeah, so I changed my mind a little bit. I think I'm going to go with this chart. I think I'm going to go with this for now. And then you get a reaction. We could have some kind in 3 waves. I think I'm going to change because looking at the front part of it and looking at it, I think I'm going to go with this for now. All right. So, all right. Thanks again. I got through everyone's comments. Let me just read what everyone else has wrote. I was only going into the super chats. Yeah, the parabolic chart. Hey guys, if you've never seen the parabolic chart, right? I always talk about the parabolic chart. And again, sometimes it frightens people. Like one time I showed this, talking about this, and someone who knows me, who watches these videos, is like, "Damn, I'm so depressed." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not here to. I don't want to make anyone depressed. I'm just saying it's the reality of the situation." So again, if you look at this chart, I mean, just look at that. Isn't that insane? And I keep saying, at some point, that parabola is going to break, right? Mathematically, you can only go so high. So if right, we can keep going and going and going. We're not going to go that backward. At some point in the future, it ends. And I think when we were playing around with this, and we project based on the current kind of trend on where we're seeing it cross, maybe right around here. Well, what do you know? That's 2028. May 2028. Maybe we top and we go across. That's the presidential election. Guys, there's too much of a confluence. I look at the VIX compression ends in 28. This ends in 28. Everything points to that. And then the market loves to change gears when there's a new president or a new Fed chief. Now, that's typically, when I was in my MBA class, the guy always used to tell me, when a new Fed chief came in, the markets always like to sell off on that for whatever reason. I mean, I guess you can think about it. Maybe it's happened before. Greenspan came in, market sells off, and then Bernanke came in, it sells off. So maybe there's something to it, but maybe, so it's like, well, maybe the new Fed chief's going to come, but this new Fed chief, he's going to want to pump the markets. Like, he's going to be Trump's guy. But I'm telling you, when Trump leaves, all that control of manipulation of the market is going to go with him. And so, interesting charts. So again, we all know what comes up must come down, right? I'm sure back in the dot-com era, right? If we only had that piece, they were probably saying the same thing. Like, look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And what? The parabola broke, right? It broke, and then it ushered in this correction, sideways correction, and extended it. We could still, like I said, normally it retraces 85% of the parabola, but it could continue to extend the parabola like the dot-com did, where we go sideways for a while, and then the parabola gets even more extended. So that's always a possibility too. So it's not just an automatic 85, right? See how they kind of saved it here, and then it just extended the parabola out to make it even more chaotic. But more than likely, when this line is breached, whenever it is, we're going to be in a big grand supercycle correction. Whether it's going to be something like this, or the crash of all crashes the bears dream about. It goes down to 85% to the COVID lows. Where's our COVID lows? Right around here. Right there. Or was it right up here? No, here. These lows. COVID lows. Something like that. And that's what's going to happen. The good thing is it'll probably happen fast. So the bull market can continue again, because just remember, guys, it's not going to do this, right? It's not going to zero. It's just going to correct, and it will, like when Bitcoin corrected in 2017, 18. It's going to be nasty, and people are going to, throw away their computers and trade-in platforms, and CNBC may go out of business, and God knows what. But it will correct, and then it will end. And guess what? A new cycle will be born. And if you follow me through all this, whenever it happens, we will be ready to profit from this and this cycle will be 3 against this. So this will be even more crazy, and I'll probably won't be alive to see this whole thing finish, because that'll be the end. But you guys might be. But this will create, when this ends, will create one of the best investment opportunities any of us will have in our lifetime, like it did in 2008 and 9. We'll get that again. It's not going to do that. It's not the end of the nation in capitalism. I don't believe that. I believe it's just a correction against this cycle. It will end, and it will create a new bull market. That's what happens. That's what these cycles do. It won't seem like that when we're in it, but that's what's going to happen. But yeah, that's the long range view, guys. And I'm sure right now, a lot of you guys are probably hitting the dislike button, because that's usually what I get when I show that chart, and that's okay, because people only want happy talk, and I get that. But you got to understand that all things aren't going to go up forever. This shit isn't going to keep going up forever. HSI, I think, is going to top soon and pull back, but we can't rule out the acceleration either. There's just no setup. Feel bad for the next president. Oh yeah, the next president can be holding the bag, man. The next president or the next regime. So you look at it two ways. They'll either be blamed for what happened, or they get to be the ones to fix it and implement all the shit they want to implement. Because, in a crisis, you get a blank check, right? Look what they did in COVID. Vaccines approved. They approved all this stuff without any oversight, any thought, no one reading the bills. So when we're in that crisis, whoever's in charge is going to probably be able to rewrite laws like it's nothing. So they have incredible power. That's why I thought in April Trump I thought Trump was crashing everything on purpose so he could rewrite the system on his terms and bail out. People would have to come between their tails, between their legs, begging him for a ballot. The power he would wield in that situation would be incredible. Imagine being like, okay, Ford, I need a bailout. Okay, you can do it, but you better bring these plants back here and this back here, and you better do this, and I want 20% of your company going to the coffer. Like, he would have had incredible power in that situation. So I do think in some ways you could be blamed, but if it happens early in administration, you could fix it and then influence all the changes, and then you get to put your fingerprints on the future of America out of that. So I guess let's just say, like, okay, 28, boom, socialist president wins. They get blamed, whatever, or maybe they get to rewrite. So we got to be careful too, kicking the can down the road. You may not like the administration in charge when the can finally the road finally ends, because they're the ones that are going to be calling the shots. So that's why there's something about like taking your medicine now too, if you're MAGA. But hey, it's just my thoughts on politics. But this is, when I say 28 is going to be something, man. And it's also around the 100 year, 29 and 30, right? The 100-year Great Depression, right? The 100-year anniversary. They'll all be talking about it. MYO, MYO is getting close to an area. Again, that's a stop loss of 0. MYO is but hey, what a home run that could be if it works. Tesla, Nvidia, we cover in our pro group basically, and they're at critical moments. Nvidia's in the middle area, chopping around. Hard to say. Tesla, I think, is going to be okay. We need to get more bullish on Tesla. Is what I'm telling our people. Get more bullish on Tesla. And yeah, I moved it up just out of necessity today. All right. I think I covered everything that you guys asked for. Appreciate your time. Let's see what the market brings. Looks like we're rallying tonight, but the futures to me are meaningless, but we are rallying. Bitcoin going down. Bitcoin's also at a key moment. We're going to double correct. Again, if we double correct, watch this box. You can get a reaction, right? But the reaction could even fail again. But that's okay. It creates opportunity where we should all be prepared for it. At least my members are prepared for what's could happen. And then let's take a look at gold and silver. Nothing happening there. Got oil. Oil is just meandering around, trying to capitulate. It's tough. Oil can trade in the middle area for years, even decades. In the 80s, it could trade. Oil is the problem with oil is it can trade in the middle area for a long time. How's the yen? Yen? No, we're getting pumping the yen. That may be helping the markets. Yen carry trade. They're getting rid of their prime minister. I heard. Maybe they like that over there. All right. Well, not much going on tonight. Well, we'll see how it goes. Thanks again, guys. Good night, and I'll be on tomorrow night for an update for all my members. Thanks.